Born in Knoxville, Tennessee in 1828, Hindman came from a planter-class family and was pretty well off. He was sent to New Jersey to study at the Lawrenceville Classical Institute, in which he graduated in 1843. Following graduation, Hindman moved to Mississippi, where his family now lived, to study law and farm cotton. He served as a second lieutenant during the Mexican-American War. His involvement in politics began early in Mississippi in 1851. After he was admitted to the bar, he started a law practice in Ripley before moving it to Helena, Arkansas 2 years later. He soon became involved in Mississippi politics and was elected a member of the Mississippi House of Representatives in 1853. Hindman supported tax and education reform. He soon felt that the political field in Mississippi was far too crowded, so he moved to Arkansas. He settled in Helena, and he soon married a girl named Mary Biscoe. She was the daughter of a wealthy planter, and he would have 5 children with her. He almost became immediately involved in Arkansas politics. During this time, Hindman became close friends with the one and only Patrick Claiborne, who would later parallel his course as a Confederate Major General. The two men also formed a business partnership in which they bought a newspaper called the Democratic Star in December of 1855. Claiborne and Hindman were actually wounded by gunshots in a street fight in Helena with some Know-Nothing members, but after the men recovered, they appeared before a grand jury to respond to any charges brought against them, and they were exonerated. Hindman became notable for his opposition to the Know-Nothing Party. Hindman was also known for his tendency to get into violent confrontations and duels with other politicians, many of which resulted in deaths. In 1858, Hindman was elected to the House of Representatives. However, he resigned from the House as soon as he heard that Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860. He urged Arkansas to secede, which it did on May 6, 1861. Hindman raised the 2nd Arkansas Infantry Regiment and entered the Confederate Army as a colonel. He was promoted to brigadier general in September of 1861, assuming the command of the Army of Mississippi. He saw action in the Battle of Shiloh, where his horse was struck by an artillery shell and he broke his leg. Hindman was soon promoted to the rank of Major General, and he was transferred to Arkansas to command the Trans-Mississippi Department. His command of the department has always been kind of seen as controversial. He declared martial law, which earned the hatred of many civilians in the territory under his command. He also encouraged guerrilla warfare and was linked to an incident where some Confederate troops murdered and captured some surrendered Union soldiers. This incident had him removed from the command. Hindman later commanded Confederate troops at the Battle of Prairie Grove, where Confederate and Union troops fiercely fought for 2 days before Hindman was forced to retreat due to a lack of supplies. He was then transferred to the Army of Tennessee under General Braxton Bragg, where he saw action at the battles of Chickamauga, Chattanooga, and others. In 1864, Hindman saw action in the Atlanta campaign at the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain. He accidentally ran face first into a tree branch and was flung off his horse, an injury that left him partially blind and out of action for the remainder of the war. Following the end of the war between the states, Hindman petitioned for a pardon from President Andrew Johnson. It was denied, and he was forced to flee to the town of Carolina, Mexico, where many ex-Confederates had ended up settling after the war. He spent 2 years down there traveling between various towns before returning back to Arkansas in 1867. He attempted to return to his former life because politics still called to him, and even though he was ineligible to run for office, he came out against the Reconstruction Constitution, which put him in direct conflict with the Reconstruction authorities. These authorities charged him with treason and tried to have him arrested. This didn't stop Hindman, though, who went on to the political circuit and had some success building an unlikely coalition between newly freed slaves and Democrats. At around 9:30 on the night of September 27, 1868, Hindman was assassinated by one or more unknown assailants who fired through his parlor window while he was reading his newspaper with his children. The musket shots hit Hindman in the jaw, throat, and hands. He died 8 hours later due to significant blood loss, ending the life of Arkansas's highest-ranking Confederate military officer. Before his death, Hindman gave a farewell speech to his neighbors and political supporters from the porch of his house with, quote, perfect composure. Hindman told listeners to unite their courage and determination to bring peace to the people. Hindman hinted at the recent political debate with Powell Clayton as a possible motivation for the shooting. He said, "I do not know who killed me, but I can say, whoever it was, I forgive them." Hindman's assassins were never caught, and there are many theories regarding their identities of the murderers. In 1869, a white prisoner at the Phillips County Jail told officials that he overheard two black inmates, Sip Cameron and Hayward Grant, discussing the crime. Grant supposedly confessed to the crime, saying the murder was part of a larger part to seek revenge for the killing of Lee Morrison, a black individual from Helena who had been hanged on September 27, 1868. Grant's claims did not collaborate with the facts of the murder, and his statements were dismissed from the investigation. No further leads ever developed, so the case was never reopened. He is buried at Evergreen Cemetery, which is now Maple Hill Cemetery, near the grave of his friend, Patrick Claiborne. His murder was seen as a shocking and tragic event that shook Arkansas to its core. The political tensions of the time made it clear that the murder was politically motivated. And although Hindman was a controversial figure, known for violent confrontations and duels with other politicians, despite this, he was still very popular amongst Arkansas Democrats. His assassination was a blow to the party. Some have suggested that it was the work of a political rival, while others believe it was the work of someone seeking revenge for one of Hindman's many violent altercations. Whatever the motive, the murder of Thomas C. Hindman remains a reminder of the violent war and Reconstruction era. While we may never know who pulled the trigger, the impact of the murder on Arkansas politics and history is undeniable. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you thought in the comments, and as always, I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.